Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. On today's episode of Kenganda News, we are going to talk about South Africa, what is happening and why it is happening. Now, dozens of people have died in the outbreaks of looting and rioting in certain parts of South Africa. A number of cities have been banned. Violence continues across the country following the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma. Now, the police are overstretched and the military has been deployed to support them because the police cannot manage to stop what is happening with the rioting and looting. Now, you may ask, why was Jacob Zuma arrested? Well, Mr. Zuma was president of South Africa from 2009 until 2018, a time when alleged corruption escalated in government and the ruling African National Congress. After he resigned, a government-mandated commission started investigating some of these allegations, but Mr. Zuma repeatedly refused to testify, despite an order to do so from South Africa's Constitutional Court. On June 29, the same court sentenced Mr. Zuma to 15 months in prison for contempt of court, and he was arrested last week. Now, despite his charges, Mr. Jacob Zuma has the support in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. His supporters believe an attack on Zuma is an attack on the Zulu nation, and what originally began as a demonstration to set the former president free quickly escalated into looting and violence. Most of the violence and looting has been concentrated in Mr. Zuma's home province of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, where South Africa's economic capital Johannesburg and political capital Pretoria are located. Mobs have targeted shopping malls, factories and warehouses, many of them improvised townships where residents have been hit hard by the three brutal waves of COVID-19 infections and government-imposed lockdowns. Some residents formed vigilante groups to protect their communities. Some say the looting and violence is due to hunger and the lack of jobs and has come on as a consequence of the socio-economic problems that are plaguing the country. The current president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, responded by visiting affected areas in KwaZulu-Natal, thanking residents for standing up in self-defense. He said, we welcome the fact that ordinary citizens are working together, not only to defend their assets, but are also defending our democracy, he told journalists. There are some reports that also mention that the government was slow to act, and also citing that maybe some people in the police or in the military actually also participated in the looting of certain things. And this is all from Twitter, where you can see some people tweeting that. Now, is there a link between the unrest and the pandemic? South Africa has been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic. It is currently in the middle of the third wave of COVID-19 infections, which has already surpassed the country's two previous waves. Around 2.5 of its 60 million people have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and so many are continuing to get sick and die. Government lockdowns that were supposed to stem transmission of the virus pushed the economy into deepest recession on record last year, leading to increased hunger and poverty and driving up an unemployment rate that stood at 33% at the end of March. Many of the looters say they are stealing to help provide for the families and put pressure on a government that has failed to provide for them. Politics was the trigger, but the core reason here is the socio-economic grievances and frustrations with the state. Now, in my own personal opinion, I don't think what's happening in South Africa should have happened for this long, but it did. The government could have come in and put a stop to the riots as soon as they happened and not let them escalate to a point that they have escalated to. Because if you do see some videos, you can see there was a building which was burned. The fire started by Reuters, and the lady was up. She had to throw her baby down, and the baby had to be rescued by spectators, people who are just watching. Can you imagine? Yeah. Now there's so many people who have died in these riots, and stampedes actually, like people just stepping over them, and some have been shot just because they were standing nearby or something like that. Now, such a thing is really it's disheartening to watch our fellow Africans go through something like that. And we do hope that South Africans can, come out of this stronger, because we know that COVID-19 has affected them already. And now the looting and rioting is going to affect them deeply. It's also going to affect the economy, yeah? Speaking of economy, several major businesses, including South Africa's largest oil refinery, had to temporarily interrupt operations because of insecurity. On Friday, the highway connecting to the important port of Durban in KwaZulu-Natal with Johannesburg, one of South Africa's busiest transport routes, reopened after being cut off since the weekend. The blockages had led concerns over shortages of food and other essentials and disrupted exports from some of the country's agricultural hubs, as well as trade with other African economies as far as afield to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, guys, what do you think about this? Tell us in the comment section what do you think. Personally, I think the riots and looting shouldn't have gone this far. The police could have stepped in a bit earlier. Maybe they were slow to act and they have their reasons, but they could have stepped in earlier and acted earlier. But then the people looting, it's not a solution to a problem. That's just temporarily. However much they're crying for the government to acknowledge them and give them help, it won't help them do anything. And there's so many people who have been arrested, and these are people who have people they're providing for, and those people will also suffer the same fate of poverty. So looting and rioting is not the best way to go. But we hope our brothers and sisters in South Africa put an end to everything and they go back to the normal life. And we hope that the injustice that they face in their socioeconomic problems can be put on hold and they find solutions to everything that they're facing. Now, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on all our social media pages: Kengana Nation Instagram, Kengana Nation Facebook, Kengana Nation Twitter. I'm your host, Janita. Till next time. Bye.